Hello, people. Sure. Finally, it's happening, man. It's happening, and this is the day that the Lord has made. I know He understands when I say that, because I've seen, I've seen you sing. I've seen you being possessed. But we'll talk about that. Hey, welcome to True Syrup. I'm not True Syrup. That was my ex name. Previously, we changed it into In Conversation with Press. So I guess I'm just turning back the hands of time. Welcome to another episode. Remember that I told you this is the most exciting platform you want to be in. Exciting because we talked to, for the past couple of days, or should I say months, I've been talking to very young people. People who are ambitious, people who are saying, you know what, to hell with the status quo. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna break boundaries. I don't want to say the street name that they normally say, but I will just maybe highlight it. Bangen. Those ones that break doors. If the doors are locked, they kick it in. Today, I want him to explain his surname after I say it, because off camera he was explaining it very nicely. And I know you guys, there's a lot of you who are getting it wrong also. It's not just me. Remember, my name is Press, and I am the boss. So now, today we are joined by a member of staff who works at the University of Saku. Joseph Saku. Yes. I'm calling it that because that's what he calls it. But it's a high school. Yeah, the high school. And he will tell us why. Why is it a university? Why did you decide to use that as a phrase? You know, why do you choose to confuse the enemy? But anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Albert Onkabetse Mohitlhi. I said it right. Thank you very much for squeezing us in today, bro. Yo, been looking forward to talking to you, like, I think over 2 years.
It's been over 2 years actually. The last time we spoke was 2020. No, actually 30, if not 2022. Yeah. That's when we were supposed to have this talk. Yeah. But we couldn't because of whenever we had to meet, something came up, schedule, and then busy. Plus we were just coming from COVID-19, post 2021. So we are trying by all means to close some gaps, especially in terms of school. So whenever I had to come here, there was no time. Because we were working the entire weekend, Monday to Sunday. So you don't find like a free time. Even like on Sundays, we know that there's a normal day. From 8 o'clock until 3 o'clock, I'm still at work. And then from there, I have to go back and then just take a rest. So I would say eventually here.
Eventually
we are here. Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, we are blessed to have you. We are blessed to have you. Because every time I wanted to talk to you, it's either you were out of the country or out of the province. And now you're catching flights. And, we're like, hey, we'll talk to him once he has landed. And finally, you are here. Yeah. So what I wanted to ask to begin with, what was the dream when you were young? Because obviously, some of us wanted to be doctors. Some of us wanted to be engineers. And what was your dream?
Okay, firstly, maybe just to introduce myself, like indicated earlier, I'm Albert Onkabetse, and actually Albert was named by my grandmother. Yeah, actually, my grandmother was blind. Okay, we were told when we were born already she was blind. I think around 1969. That's when she got blind, and then she named me Albert, and then my mom named me Onkabetse.
So you were named by ladies.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So my name, so that's how it came about. And then Mohitlhi, like you indicated, Mohitlhi, the arriver. So especially this is the one that dominates, We always say where you arrive, there has to be some things that somebody has arrived, and it must show whether it's a working place, whether it's in the community, where people are working. When you arrive, something must just indicate somebody has arrived. So, and so I love that meaning, the arriver Mohitlhi. So born and bred here in town, Momutamtanyane 16 letters. 16 letters.
I didn't even know that. Is it Mohitlhi 16 letters?
Yeah, it is literally like 16 letters. So that's how actually we used to call it when we were growing up. Okay, 16 letters. We only know it's Mutantayane. We don't have to fit down all other places, 16 letters.
Yeah. Representing 16 letters.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and then I went to school in Hobamam Primary School in Mutantayane. And then we went to Malepe Middle School. During those times, I'm one of those where we had middle schools before, because of now it's primary school and secondary school. There's nothing in between. Middle schools were for grade 7, 8, 9. Then we knew after 7, 8, 9, you go straight to high school, where it's 10, 11, 12. And then from there, I went to Bangsdrift in Aswater. And then I think, from there, like you are saying in terms of dreams, I remember in my last year when we were in examination, my maths teacher came to me and then saying, guys, you're not applying for anything. Are you not having any dreams? Are you not dreaming? We're like, hey, now we don't know, like especially in the rural places, there was a time where, especially when you're in school, we don't have those people like now. We know now that people will be like, we've got an organization where we are doing up online applications for you. We are assisting the grade 12s. By then, we didn't have like platform like that, organizations like that, where people will be coming to say, no, we are here, maybe going to school to say, we are helping the grade 12s with their online application. So with us, we just had to figure it out. Fend for ourselves. Yes. So luckily we had, in our school, the maths teacher who came to us and then saying, guys, what is it you're going to do? We're like, we have no idea. And then he sat us down. And then we're like, okay, no applications. We've got some applications. Can't you just apply? They tried, to take us through applications and then various institutions. But in my mind, I wanted to be a doctor, Yeah, whenever they ask me what is it you want to become when you grow up, I was like, I want to be a doctor. Why? I want to be a medical doctor. I want to make sure that I come back home, work in a clinic, So that's the dream that I had. Until my maths teacher came to me and then telling me that actually in the country we are running short of maths teachers. I'm like, do you want me to be a teacher? I can't be a teacher. I don't remember maybe it's because of the height, number one. And then, my body structure, I was like, hey, I can't come and to teach in a high school and become a maths teacher. I don't think I can manage. Yeah. And then he was like, nope, we are running short of maths teachers and we know that you can do it. So how about just give it a test or give it a try? And then if it doesn't work out, then you can. Actually, he was like, no, go and study this education. And then if it doesn't work out for you, go and do whatever that you want to do.
But why do you think he actually called you to the corner and told you it? What is it that he was seeing, what she was seeing?
I always believe that there are some people who see some things in you that you don't see. I always tell my learners that sometimes, especially as individuals, it seems impossible until you do something or until maybe you are told. I think he was giving me a little encouragement, a little empowerment to say, actually there is something in you that you are not aware of. As individuals, we all have got those energies that are inside of us, but we need a little bit push. If someone can just push you to activate that energy will spark out. But when I don't think if it did not come to me by then, I would be aware of maybe the energy that I had or the potential that is inside of me that must be unleashed. I don't think I would have been here today. So I think he saw some potential in me, and then he was just a little push that needed to happen in my life so that I can be here today. Yeah.
Beautiful, man. That is actually sums up sort of piece of your journey. What excites me is that the meaning behind your names are somehow a revelation to maybe how you've led your life with just a piece of information that you've just given us. So now, when you listen to your name, it says Onkabetse. Yeah. There is that one thing. What does it mean for you? Because for me, it can mean a lot of things. You are a teacher, so you part with energies, you part with knowledge, you part with a lot of things. What does it mean, Onkabetse, for you moving forward?
Okay, for me, there's a gift that God has given me, and then of which is not only for me. That I always say we've been deposited here on earth, to make an impact for an assignment. We are not being deposited here on earth just to be ordinary people or just to exist. No. But there's an assignment that God has brought us here on earth to unleash, to share with people. So there's a gift in me that God has given me that it cannot only be for me, but I must share with the world. Wherever I go, I must impact people with it. And it can only happen when I have to share it with the world, not for me. So Onkabetse, especially my grandmother was saying, Modimo o re file ka wena. So when I was born, so Modimo o re file eng. Because as a child, I was like, what is the meaning of Onkabetse? What will I tell people? Are Modimo o go file? And you might not be aware of o go file eng. We might not be aware of o go file eng. But through you, we are going to experience, we are going to receive what God has deposited in you. So as a teacher, again, I was reminded that there is something in me that I need to share with the world. There is something in me that I need to share with the communities. There is something in me that I need to share with the upcoming generation. There is something in me that I need to share with the kids. That is why most of the time I'm working in the rural areas.
Okay.
Yes, I'm because I feel like most of the time they are limited to some sort of information. I was that learner, or I was that child who I feel that if I had more resources, if I had more information, or if I was exposed to more resources, maybe I would be far or what. Then I was like, no, if I feel like that, then I can be that person that I never had to this coming kids or this coming generation.
Oof. You are really Onkabetse. Yeah. You are the definition of your name. What makes me crazy and happy is hearing you say you have decided to be in the rural areas. Are you saying there were opportunities for you to leave and you like, nah, I'm staying?
Yeah, I started teaching, I think, in the side of Freiburg. There was a local place called Chakwaning.
Okay.
That's where I started teaching, actually.
Beautiful.
And just, it was my final year when I was finishing. A friend of mine, I was attending SCO Student Christian Organization. It's where adversity will be there, being crazy. I always tell my kids that, guys, when you get to varsity, experience life. Like, don't just go there for career, for academic, because of sometimes we fail ourselves in terms of being holistic person in a way that, except your academic, sports-wise, social-wise, who are you? Because of you need to grow holistically. So when I was in university, I was involved in, student politics, student affairs, student organizations, so that I can grow as a whole. I cannot just grow academically. Spiritually, I needed to grow. Politically, I needed to grow because I was the secretary of student parliament. So I needed to grow in all dimensions because I'm going to be a teacher. When you're a teacher, it's not only about the content that you're coming to give the kids. Local parentis, you must be there as a parent also. You must be there. You are a pastor to those kids. You are a leader to those kids. They are looking up to you in all areas. So you cannot only take it in one dimension in terms of academic. You need to be, you need to grow holistically. So as I was saying, I was in Tekwaning. That's where I started teaching there. It's just a rural area outside Freiburg. And then that's where I saw my passion that actually I'm not for the cities, but I'll explain why. I'm not for the towns or the big cities. I'm actually called for rural areas like that. Why? Reason being to transform those kids. Because at the end of the day, remember they are writing one national paper with those ones that are in the cities. So yes, I've been called. I remember when I left Takwaning, I think it was 2017. I got many offers, to move Mafikeng, Rustenburg. And then I was like, if I want to go, I usually have this ideology that Rustenburg is a city on its own. Mafikeng is a capital city on its own. And then there are so many people, so many leaders that who have done their part. I feel like if I go there, yeah, there can be an impact, but the weight of the impact as compared to when I'll be going to the unknown rural area where maybe, let's say, known leaders have never been there, my impact there will be greater as compared to as I'll be going to Potchefstroom or going to Rustenburg. So rather let me come and then pour my impact in those rural areas because of it will be more greater and even more in terms of the weight as compared to Mafikeng or Rustenburg. So yes, even now I'm still being poached,
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I'm from. So is there ever, because obviously it means the money is also better. I'm trying to get to the core of Albert. I'm trying to get to
Yeah.
know, and we're trying to get to know what makes you you. Is it the offers that you get, or are you? Because obviously the money is beautiful.
The money is good. Let me take you through this. I believe in my motto. I always say, life is a celebration. So I've got this motto that says, a friend of mine actually, we usually speak, that there are two things. I want you to understand me. It will be what I would have preferred to be in Rustenburg or to be in, let's say, Pretoria or to stay in Cape Town, to be that boy, running the world. Yes, everybody would have preferred, obviously, yes. But the same as a preference, I had to choose purpose over preference.
So wait. Oh my goodness. Say that again.
I had to choose purpose over preference.
Wow.
Yes. Jake, just to break it down, if you allow me.
Yes, please. Please.
I'll make an example with this bottle of water here. Someone will say, I don't prefer this type of bottle to drink water from. Or I don't prefer I would prefer if you had called me maybe at this particular time or at this particular season. Preference, it goes with what the person goes for, or maybe the reputation, or how maybe the person is being known for. But then there's a purpose. A purpose, it says, after I have done this, it's not about me, but it's about an impact. Yes, I'm doing this, but out of doing this, if there's no impact, then why should you do it? In the preference, it has nothing to do with the impact. It has everything to do with money, like you were saying. The money is here. The money were looking good and so forth. Yeah, it is what I would have preferred. But for me, I was like, okay, if I'm going to do that, what purpose will I be serving? Because I'm called to serve. I'm called to have an assignment here on earth to impact people's lives. So if I'm going there and I'm not impacting anyone's life, then the purpose will not be served.
It will just be about preference.
It will just be about preference, let's good, looking good, Mr. Mohitlhi, and so forth. But then I had to say, nah, if it's not serving purpose, I don't have to go there.
Yeah, no. Some of us, we are still searching for what really is my purpose here on earth. We're trying to find out, what is it that I'm called for? Yeah. What is it that what you finding out? Do you sit by yourself? Do you call a meeting by yourself, and do you ask yourself questions just so you can get to that point where you say, this is my purpose?
Purpose, it starts with you. I've got this, I don't know how to put it, this passage or paragraph that I usually start with my learners that says, it starts with me, it begins with me. No one will call me for my purpose. No one will push me. No one will tell me how to do it. I believe in myself, and if I believe it, I will do it, and it starts with me. So I usually say that. So it means I had to sit down with myself. I had to put myself in a meeting. I had to ask myself the questions that people were not asking. I had to, remember these things of the vision board, what. I had to do that, literally ask myself, okay, I'm going to be a teacher. There are many teachers out there. There are many great teachers out there. But what is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to bring? Everyone is a teacher, everyone. So what is it that's going to make you different from the rest? So I had to sit myself down saying, okay, what is it that I'm actually for? What is it I'm doing? So number one, I had to ask myself, okay, what is my purpose here on earth to serve? Then I indicated. So now everything is regarding serving, servanthood. Sacrificial leadership comes with that, where you have to sacrifice in order for people to be taken care of at the expense of your time. So it's all about servanthood. So my purpose, that's how I found it, to serve. Nothing else, just to serve.
There's something that you said to me off camera that you don't like talking about. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm inspired. Yes. I'm inspired. And you are going to tell us reasons today that what makes you sort of shy away from it and what makes you not want to be called it. One thing that I did not mention is that we are in the midst of leadership. Not only is he a leader for the learners, but I love how he also calls them. What I've been listening to right now is what I normally tell my kids. I'm not even sure that you are aware that that's how you say. Many teachers would say, I'm not saying that it's wrong, but many teachers will say what I normally tell my learners. But you have made it a sure point that these are your kids. Yeah. And you treat them as your kids because the reason being, I'm aware that your psyche does not say these are learners, these are your kids. And now he is in the leadership. You are now a deputy principal. 2021. Before we even get to how the relationship that you have with your kids, take us through that.
2021.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it your year?
Yeah, someone will be saying, this is my year. You're going to church on the 31st of December. You're like, 2021, it's my year.
It's my year.
2021, it's my year. Maybe just to take you through, your things happening. 2017, I arrived in Mohitlhi this is Dr. RSM, but it's divided into LEOs, which is Local Education Office. I was in Naledi, which is the Freiburg side. So 2017, I was appointed in Tudo, working there as a departmental head for mathematics, also teaching there. And then 2021, remember we are coming from 2020, COVID, everyone was negative, everyone was heartbroken, people lost their loved ones. Yes. Even others lost relationships.
Oh, I know that part. And the way you say it is like, wait, hey, you're gonna make me curious. You're gonna make us fear. Others lost relationship.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying to give you a picture how 2020 actually left people heartbreak.
I don't want that year. I don't want that year.
2020 was horrible.
It was horrible.
But when you flip the coin, it was a learning curve for me. Now I enjoyed 2020. 20, except just I lost my best friend, so rest in
Sorry
peace.
about that, yeah.
Yeah, my best friend in 2020 when I was studying Takwani. No, when I moved, and then it was 2020. I still remember that week, and then so may so rest in peace. So, 2020 was a blessing again, and then in a way that it taught us things that the Bible says faith is the things that we cannot see. It's the evidence of what you believe, but you cannot see it. That's what 2020 actually opened my eyes for. So after 2020, 2021, I told myself that I'm not going to do these things the same way. I used to say, you cannot teach the same kids. No, you cannot teach different kids the same way, different years, and expect different results.
Yeah, they're going to be the same.
They're going to be the same. Cannot be the same. You need to. So in 2021, I made a vow that because each and every year I had like a motto. I made a vow in 2021. I was like, in 2021, I'm going to be resilient.
Oh yeah.
Nothing's going to stand before me. Nothing's going to weigh me down. I'm going to do things that cannot be done. I'm going to do things that cannot be, according to people, they're impossible. I'm going to move to the mountains that cannot be moved. I was like, my faith will not make sense to anyone, and I won't explain myself to anyone because of the moment you try to explain your faith to people, because of faith is to other people would be like foolishness. Cannot be explained. So that's how I treat myself. So now, quickly, what happened was that, I took a risk in 2020. I applied for some posts, and then 2021, we went for interviews. Things happened, hey. And then, 2021, while I was there, and then, I was appointed at Joseph Saku. That was 2021. In May. We're in May, right? May.
As I'm saying,
And the 4th of May, 2021.
I told you that this is the day that the Lord has made.
Wow. Yes, 2021, I was appointed at Joseph Saku.
Wait, you were appointed in 2021
Yes.
as a teacher.
As a deputy principal.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes, I was appointed as a deputy principal in Joseph Sako in 2021. That was 2021 in May.
Okay.
And then in July, when I was still there, I entered the National Teaching Awards, which is NTA. And then that was July. And then this is how it happens. The procedure, I entered at the second level for the category of excellence in mathematics teaching in FET. Yes. So because there is GET and FET. GET is for primary until grade 9. And then FET is 10 to 12. And then I got position 1 from the second. I went to the sub-district. I got position 1. And then I went to the district. I got position 1. And then from the district, okay, I entered NTA before, but usually I ended up there being the district winner. I've never won at the provincial level. So 2021, then I entered at the district level, and then I won. And then what happened? Then we went to the province. Hey, you know, for me it was a shock because I was like, when you hit position 4, I stood up because I was like, you know, it's me again. Because I'm used to position 4, 3, I never get position even 2. Position 4, position 3. So when he's at position 4, I was like, Dr. RSM, that's my district. He's like, oh, okay. Then at position 3, I was like, no, obviously.
Yeah, this one is right.
Then they didn't call my name. Then I started to panic. You know, I just got very.
Somebody took my position.
Yeah, I'm like, no, somebody took my position. Then position 2, they don't call my district. I'm like, am I dreaming? You know, some things, especially when I'm coming from the childhood where, you know, getting a sweet, it's a struggle.
It's a privilege.
It's a privilege, yes. You know, when you win bigger, you are as if maybe you are in a bed, you're about to roll. You're trying to say, am I not dreaming? Is this happening? Because they were like, Mohitlhi. I wasn't even aware. Then I remember, then I went to the podium, then I received the award. And then that was August, September. And then obviously from there, they took us there with the MEC, and then they took pictures. I remember from there, they had to induct us in preparation for the national. So they had to coach us. There's a coaching before you go to national that happens where that's where again, you know, I thank God for that opportunity because of, hey, they built us there. I won't lie to you, Northwest Department of Education, they will build you through coaching because of they break you there. Even if you won at the province, they'll be taking your presentation as if you are starting from scratch. Now they'll be building you up because they'll be preparing you for national. Because at national is different provinces. Remember, it's 9 provinces. You are up against 8 provinces. So they had to build us in terms of leadership, in terms of character. I remember one of the leaders, they said, we cannot take you where we have never been. It was like, as a vision bearer, we can never take your people where you have never been. You need to go there to the, you know, to the higher places or to the cold place alone, so that you must feel the temperature of that place. So that when you tell your people that let us go, they have been there.
You've been there. Oh, that's so biblical.
Yeah, so, and then they built us up, and then September, I remember because it was COVID, then they made an interview. It was supposed to be online, but it was 2021, it is, then they said, no, we'll be there. I remember I drove to Johannesburg. I still remember. It was in September when I went for the interview. And then I think I was number 5 or 6. I still don't remember. You know, people will be telling you that, hey, if you're number 6 or 7, you must forget it because of they already listened to number 1, number 2, number 3, you can imagine, number 4, number 5. So when they get to you, they'll be like, oh, number 6 come.
Yeah, they'll already tired.
Yeah, so they were like, you must forget it. And then I was like, no, it's okay. I will just do what I've been, you know, taught here to do, but I'm here to serve. So if my services are not enough for them, then it's for them. And then just to sum it up, and then we got an interview, and then I remember I was on time, and then very important to be on time there. And then they called my name. I remember when I entered the It was the first time in my life and I've been interviewed like you are in a boardroom. You know, boardroom, you see them in the movies where it is the doctors, it is the professors, it is the, director, people with tigers, specialists, and people who are in the, who are like in that field, who are specializing in that field. When you talk maths, they love, there's a maths guru here. So you cannot talk about any topic in mathematics and then you mess.
They're going to be people who actually design books of which you are using to teach.
People who are writing books were there. Publishers were there. When you talk about code of conduct, how you conduct yourself as a teacher, says people are there. People are there. So you need to know your story. And then we were there. Then I did my part. It's like, okay, let's do what I've been called here to do. You're given 35 minutes. Yeah, we are given 35 minutes to do all the part. The nice part about it is that you're not being asked any question. You are just coming to present your presentation, and then that's it. So you'll be judged from the presentation that you made. And then in October, then we were told that only top 3 will be invited to the gala with the minister and the president of the country. Only top 3 out of 9. So meaning if you don't get a call or email, you must know you are between 4 until 9. So it was in October, if I'm not mistaken. And then remember at that time, you are in anticipation. Calling, you check your emails, maybe it's in my spam. Maybe if else, let's say I need to refresh it, maybe it's in my spam. Or don't get a missed call coming, especially 012, like maybe it's Pretoria. Call me, I used to panic. Like, no, when you call them, no, it's not us. Okay. And then I got an email, I was called in other province, no, you got an invitation. And then again, the anxiety part about you was when you got an invitation, you don't know whether are you 3 or are you 2. But the exciting part was like, as long as I got an invitation, it means I made an impact. So then we went there. I remember we got there to that day, and then the minister arrived. One thing I remember that during that night I told myself, even if I don't win, even if I don't get anything, as long as I'm in the midst, amongst the great, the kings. Remember the word of God says, you'll be amongst the kings. You'll be amongst the people. You will not just be amongst ordinary people, but extraordinary people when you say moving forward. So I was like, no, the word of God said it all. The president arriving, the minister arriving them, the DDGs, the MECs were there of the provinces. So we're there.
In the midst of greatness.
Hey, in the midst of greatness. And then we are rubbing shoulders. And then, I remember from there, they did all the speech, and then we came to our category. Position 3, I remember, they said position 3, it was Mpumalanga. Okay. Remember they will be naming province?
Oh, yeah.
And then the name of the school. Mpumalanga. I'm like, that's not me. Okay, position 3 is mine. And I remember, but what was my first time?
Why do you always want to occupy positions that are...
Sometimes because you are coming from I always tell people that you can never run away from your experiences. I always say, I actually learned it the hard way to confront it. I always tell people that you cannot conquer what you can't confront.
Yes.
I always had this thing at the back of my mind. Your background will always be there with you. Your experiences. I always tell the parents of my kids that we need to speak with these kids. If you don't speak, if you don't give them the platform to talk, the trauma that they're experiencing now in their lives, they're going to follow them even to their adulthood. Coming from that situation where some things were just, we'll not talk about them. When you win, it's like it's a taboo. So you end up, labeling yourself as, no, I'm a loser. No, maybe I'm a second. I cannot. So I learned it the hard way. But I thank God that for all those experiences, is what the word of God says, all things work together. The bad and the good combination, they work together. Because in my mind, I was like, just being invited here, I'm a winner. Just being amongst the great, I'm a winner. The position will not actually define me. I always believe that the office is not defining us, but the function of the office speaks
volumes
about your role. It speaks volume. So I was like, where is position 3? I'm okay. Where is position 2? I'm okay. Where is position 1? I'm okay. Any other position, it's not about the position, but it's about the function of that position. because I can have the position, but if I'm not playing the role, if I'm not playing the function of that position, then it serves no purpose.
And plus the experience, man.
Yeah, the experience again of being there. So then position 2, and oh, by the way, position 2 was a friend of mine. Actually, all the three of us were friends before. Oh, really is. Position 2, they said Limpopo. Oh, and then the whole Northwest, they screamed before me because of they're like, no way. Because position 3 was in Mpumalanga, position 2 was Limpopo. And then now position 1, Northwest. Oh. And then it didn't make sense, you know. When people are celebrating it, I heard before you. When I had that time you heard, it's like, okay, it will only sink in when you're at the hotel there. Like, I'm already number 1. Like, really, Mutantanyanin. Guys, like, Mutantanyan in the rural day, like, Osnang, na di pot also, la fela kanona mo, na di pot also is a gravel. You know, the pot to put. Like, guys. Yeah, so that's how it was. And then it was the moment of the country, the nation, like the whole entire nation, like stood up. And then I remember I got calls from the district directors, from the MEC, from my family. My family was very supportive. My family, like they cried, like they were like, Sekimot Polo, it's a miracle. Onkabetse, like Onkabetse udira eng. That's when actually I also understood the meaning of the name.
Oh yeah.
There is something here about this name here, Onkabetse. There is something powerful about. There is something that God has gifted me that the world is yet to witness. So actually, that's when 2021 it began. 2021 actually began my entire life. Yeah, everything started from there. But I always want to correct this narrative from people. I got that award when I was already appointed as a deputy principal at Joseph Sako.
Oh, not the other way around.
Not the other way around. I didn't get the award and then I was appointed as a deputy. No, I was appointed. I was serving as a deputy principal at Joseph Sako before the award. I was already the deputy principal. So actually, also that thing it taught me and opened my eyes that actually our services, our efforts, our actions, they will speak before us in the closed doors of the boardrooms. So they spoke even before the winning. I was already serving. I was already doing my part. I was already impacting lives. I didn't wait for the award to come and define me. The award already found me working.
Found you.
I always tell my kids and my fellow colleagues that you must always be ready. Opportunities are not for people who are going to get ready. Opportunities are not for people who are going to get their works done. Opportunities are for people who are ready. You must. That award found me ready. It didn't come and then I said, let me go and do my work. Let me go and go extra. No, I was already going extra. When I was a PL1 teacher, I was already doing 6 to 6 classes. When I was still in the Tapaning, I still remember I used to have those morning classes. Before I could even say there would be an award one day. That thought of award never came to my mind, but I was already doing the work. So if the society and the people of today can understand that titles and the awards don't define us, titles and awards are the additional bonuses that they will find us doing the work. But most of the time where people get it wrong, especially in the leadership, they are waiting for the titles in order for them to execute the work. You must execute the work and the title must find you doing the work.
Whew. He's not just a deputy principal. He's not just a winner. He's also a motivational speaker. I'm offering you that one. So now, now the whole pressure is now compounding. And do you believe at some point, do you have this syndrome, imposter syndrome, where you feel like, no man, this is not me. I understand you could not believe that a guy from, but where, not personally. Did it like make you aware that this is you, or you do not believe that this is me? Because some people will do great things and they still not believe they did great things.
Actually, I knew it from the beginning in terms of not just the winning of award. I knew that there is something different about me, and one day the world will talk about.
Oh,
I still remember when I was in primary school. Yes, in primary school, I used to, like you say, I used to sing a lot, even in the community. Because like you always man feel it in you. I don't know. I always knew man there is something going in me, but I don't think where I am they can contain me. So I think nations will still need to share something in me. I remember when I was in grade 11 with my back then classmates. I remember we used to say this thing to say, "Ish man, we are struggling here. Ghana University will be met with people who are not being taught in the neck, who are from model C schools. How are we going to talk and so forth? Not being taught in the neck and so forth, and we have no understanding of what's happening." Guys, there is something in us. Each and every individual here carries something in them, man.
Yeah.
The world is just waiting for us to release that. We don't know how, but there are some people who are placed in our lives to activate. Maybe just to give an example. This is why I always believe that we don't meet people by coincidence. There is no one that you meet because of coincidence. There is a purpose that comes with meeting people. And that is why some people in our lives are temporary. They are just there for the assignment. When the assignment is done, they'll be gone. Not because of you did them bad or you did them well. It happened in my life. I will just tell you, for example, in my primary, there was a particular teacher in my life who inspired me. Not that others did not inspire me, but there was a particular space that she needed to fill. I went to middle school. There was my life orientation teacher. She's still teaching even now. And the other one was teaching me maths. There's a role that they played in my life. It's like they saw there was something in me that they needed to protect. And then from there, I went to high school. This teacher that I told you about, who was my maths teacher, there was something that he needed to protect in me. And then also in my family, there'll be those people that will be there to protect something. It's like they can see this person is carrying something. So when I was in university, I was like, there can't be that in my life. There were particular people who were only in my life, but were not in other people's lives, but they were in my life. What is it? It means there was something in me that they were protecting. That's why I had to sit down with myself saying, there is something in me, there's a purpose in me that I need to look after. What is it? That's when, everything happened.
And that's when I think maybe a lot of things started making sense for you. I think also being aware of your nature assists you in not questioning a lot of things and really being aware in a sense that you are able to trace your steps from where everything began. But do you think the NTA awards playing a certain role in teachers what you've been part of?
Yes, it's a big platform. I won't lie. I would encourage every teacher there to enter, the NTA. It's a big platform, number one in terms of networking. It's not about winning, the nice part about it. Even if you don't win, like I was telling you about services, after just entering NTA, you meet people, you share best practices, you have clinics, depending on the category. Like NTA, there are different categories. There's category for leadership, there's category for secondary teaching, there's category for subjects like mathematics, physical sciences. Let's say I entered for maths. I met with great maths teachers out there, nationally, not just only in the province. I remember after winning NTA, we were sent by says they did Maths Indaba in Durban. We were sent there to go and coach maths teachers in KZN. Then there I met such great gurus. Like, it's a platform that opened doors for you. Doors in terms of even opportunities for work. Guys, there's so many opportunities in education. People think just being a teacher in the chalkboard, that's all. No. There are many opportunities, even in terms of hustling. Within, there are opportunities there within. I feel like maybe when we grew up, we just knew teachers as, that is why people, the way they are defining teachers in the social media, I'm just watching them, I'm like, they don't know.
They don't know.
Only if they knew that there are so many opportunities in education, especially when you are working diligently and with determination. So NTA opens doors in terms of work, in terms of traveling, not only throughout the country, even across the country, traveling across the country, and then also giving the platforms to talk to teachers, for empowerment, for content training, even content training, also platforms for for development, for teacher development. Again, that's another baby that with UJSS, I had to create teacher development, hence University of Joseph Saku. Yeah, that's where it comes from for teacher development. At the University of Joseph Saku, we are not only having teachers there, but when teachers come out of there, it's like an institution where they get developed in terms of teacher development, in terms of leadership. Wherever they go, they can stand. Wherever they go, they can be exposed to any type of work, they will stand. That's what we are trying to build up at the University of Joseph Saku. So, and all thanks to NTA, because in NTA, they also teach us and build what we call character building.
Oh yeah.
Why character building? They've seen that you can be a winner, but if you are a winner without character,
Right, you sort of this, yeah.
you are dead in the department because of you'll be speaking anything, you'll just be going anywhere. Like you were asking, there are many offers, why are you not going anywhere? NTA taught me to have a backbone. You need to have a backbone. You need to know this is for me. You need to know this is not for me. Also in our district, we are being I will say we are being developed in that area of having a backbone, of being a steadfast leader, to know, no, this is not for me. Yes, this is for me. You don't just fall for any offer that comes your way just because of it's a good post or it's a promotion. But you need to sit yourself down. Is this for me? How will it serve my purpose and so forth? So teachers must enter NTA so that they must grow. And NTA is for teachers who are working. It's for excellence. It's one thing. It's for excellence because there are great, excellent teachers who are there, who are working tirelessly and then they are not being appreciated. So NTA is a platform to say we appreciate what you are doing behind the scene. We appreciate for what you are doing when no one is seeing, but you are there in your local corner. We've got people there in the rural areas, deep rural areas. They are making sure those learners are exposed. They are being exposed to YouTube. They are being taught with data projectors. They are in the deep rural areas. Those teachers are working. They are knocking off around 6 o'clock in the evening. They are cooking even for those learners. They are making sure that learners have got uniform. They've got even shoes. Teachers are doing the work. They are not just teachers. They are the nurses, social workers. They are the parents. They are pastors of these kids. Because of we don't want these kids, as they are coming from the homes where, for example, there's no shelter and they are not feeling at home. When they come at school, we want them to feel at home. So NTA is appreciating those efforts that teachers are doing.
NTA, wow. I think they should get you a post there.
Spokesperson of the NTA. But what makes me curious also is that there's a lot of things that are happening within that fraternity of education, like you've just said. But the question that is always lingering with a lot of teachers is that there's just a lot of work to do. You'll find that a teacher's got like 80 or 60 learners in a class. What is one thing that you would say can be done to sort of dismantle that and literally give a teachers a fighting chance, or some teachers a fighting chance? Because I understand it's not every parent that will afford a private school, where a child will be having an undivided attention. That's sort of a setup. What can be done, or what should be done, or what is the department doing in that? Because I realize you being in the NTA gives you an opportunity to sort of be exposed to the planning of the department, and then you get to sit with people who are talking about the planning, not just things which are like me and you or me and other people might just gossip. What is that do you think it should be done or it's doing just to sort of melt that pressure from a lot of teachers?
Yeah. I think maybe number one that teachers must understand is the context. The context differs from one school to another. Our problem mainly is that when we compare, we forget the context. And someone can compare Joseph Saku, which is a public school, which is in the rural area, which is admitting everyone. You'll find that Joseph Saku, we are admitting about learners from 5 primary schools. and we cannot say no to them because of you're coming from there. Where should we say they must go?
Yeah.
As compared to another school there in a city where maybe the modesty school. So the context differ from one school to another. But what I can say to the teacher out there, especially to the teachers, that run your initiative. It's not easy. I won't lie to you. It's not easy. I'm coming from a point where I taught 50 learners in one class. I taught 40 learners in one class. Yeah, this issue of teaching, I'm at 10 or 20. We only hear it's rumors to us. Some of us, it's rumors that we can teach 20 learners in a class. We are coming from where we are teaching 60 learners in a class. But we always say, work with what you can work with. So that at the end of the day, those learners, they get an opportunity to be taught. Because of what is important at the end is that learners must be taught and learners must be assessed. Why am I bringing this to you? Is because of, if you are going to say we are going to wait for the department to do something, or we're going to wait for something to happen, most of the schools are still underperforming or have underperformed because of they are waiting for someone to do something or some people to deliver. Work with what you have. Work with what you have, because of, if you don't, you are going to wait. There are many schools, for example, in the district, there are many schools in the province, there are many schools, to mention the country, let's not even go there.
Yeah.
You'll find that maybe you're still waiting. Let me speak about infrastructure. Maybe we will be saying, no, we need schools here to be built and so forth. Joseph Saku people, they see it because of the results. They see it because of how results are coming out, how dedicated teachers. I won't lie to you. Teachers at Joseph Saku are dedicated. They are like they've given their oomph to the work. They are committed. I won't lie to you. But the moment you get to that school, that you'll be surprised as the result that you see. In terms of infrastructure, we don't have a school. We don't have like a big, people in their mind, they think, University of Joseph Saku is this big school, is this double story, is this what, is this fence? There is nothing like that. But what we told ourselves at school was that we are going to deliver. We are going to deliver curriculum. Regardless of what we are having, circumstances won't define us. We are going to deliver, even in given situation as we see it. We are going to deliver curriculum, so that when the department remembers us tomorrow to say, oh, here is Joseph Saku, let us remember you, maybe you are going to build something to you. Like just I indicated earlier, opportunities come to those who are ready. Even if an opportunity comes or a sponsorship comes to say, let us build, but they cannot come and say, let us build, and then they find us, we are so sad, we are so miserable, we are not delivering curriculum, we are not doing injustice to the kids, because of just we are saying in our school, we don't have classes, we don't have furnitures, we don't have. Work with what you have, so that when opportunity comes, it is must find you ready. So that's what we are that's all I can say maybe to teachers out there, because I know teachers are frustrated because of contextual factors. It has nothing to do with content, it has nothing to do with assessment, it is the contextual factors. But contextual factors differ from one school to another.
So now, moving away from there, and I wanna circle back to this one. A young man moving into the position of leadership, finding traditional ways in which we've been doing things, finding people who say, but this is how we've always been doing things. You're coming with this new broom. You want the new broom now starting to sweep. How was it for you?
It wasn't easy. Yeah, I won't lie. No, I'm not gonna lie. It was
hectic.
because I was the last born. Oh yeah. Yes, the last born, being the last born in terms of management. Okay, 2021 I was appointed there, and then I arrived. The support that I got, man, I won't lie. The support that I got when I arrived there was out of this place. That's what gave me courage. I was like, as young as I am, being amongst, the greats here, what is it that am I? Because of the question that I was asking myself was that, whatever maybe plans that I have, will they understand my plans? Will they understand, because of, remember, I needed to balance. I needed to balance, those who are older than me and those who are younger than me, and put myself in the middle, bring this young generation closer. I think my position it was actually strategic and very blessed one, because I was in the middle. There were those ones who were younger than me, and then those who were older than me, and then I was here. I was like, actually, my position here is to bring this young generation and the older generation and combine the two, and then move this ship forward. So that was my purpose. But I got the support from the principal, the SGB, and yeah, it was very open, and then it helped me to carry together with them the ship, and then we spoke to the vision of the school. One thing is that when you are appointed in an institution, you need to know the ins and the outs of that institution. You need to know what is the vision of that school. You need to know when you find them. Plus, when I arrived at Joseph, it was a performing school. I didn't make it.
Now the strategy.
No, I want to make it that one straight. It was a performing school even before I arrived at Joseph Sako. So mine was that actually this is a performing school. Teachers are working hard. What is it, butter or that, whatever that I can maybe spice it up to make it more, That's the only thing that I brought, just to say spice it up to make it more. In terms of social pages, in terms of making it school of choice, in terms of marketing, advertising, branding.
Oh yeah.
We just brought the branding of the school in terms of that, and then they took the vision of branding, advertising, they ran with it. I remember when we arrived, I think it was around 700 something. Teachers were around 20 something, if I'm not mistaken. 2022, boom. 2023, 2024. Now we are around 1.4. We've got our 1.4 learners with a staff of 47. Yeah. And it can only be the efforts of the team and the team. It's not about an individual. It's not one person did all the entire work. No, it is the team coming together, the team carrying the vision, and then the leader, the principal of Joseph Sako, guys.
Yeah, but I'm interested now in knowing the conversations that you have with the principal, in terms of really moving the school forward.
Yeah. He's something else, One thing that I just want about it, I don't know if you know that because you're Zulu. Actually, that's what I ran with. I've got mentors. So one of my mentors was like, when you get to that school, make sure that you don't divide the school. You don't come in with your own business. No, align yourself with the vision. Align yourself with the leader there. I just got there and then learned from the best. And he unleashed the potential in me. One thing about him is that he will stretch you he will stretch you. He will take you from your comfort zone. He will make sure that you stretch. And that's what those are the leaders that we are looking for. The one who will stretch you from this point to that point, will say, fly. Wants you to fly. That's what he did to me. People see me today as Mr. Mohitlhi, leading the University of Joseph Sako, going up and going to China, going to Zambia, and so forth. But behind there was a leader who stretched me, who never got comfortable with the person that I was when I was coming from Salatude. He was like, yes, this is how you arrive. This is you. But I don't want you to be this size. I want you to be better. You called me Mohitlhi. He was like, Mohitlhi, I want you to be better because I know you can do this. So now I was blessed with leaders around me who were not selfish.
Oh, beautiful.
Leaders who wanted me to be better. Leaders who wanted me to grow further. Leaders who were even in the department, officials, they were like, flourish, Mohitlhi. Like, here is a carpet, flourish. Like, they gave me that platform to grow. One thing is that when you're given a platform to grow, don't play.
Yeah.
Don't mess it up. When you're given an opportunity, like I always say, go big or go home. If you can do it, then sit down. Don't say I will try. When you're given in a platform, it means those people, they trust you with their lives, with their reputation. They are putting their reputation at risk. Imagine officials, the principal saying, Mr. Mohitlhi can do this. I remember in some of the meetings, he was like, no, I will be with the school, go and represent the school because I trust that you can do it. So if someone can do that, you cannot play with that opportunity. You cannot be as if you don't do homework. You must do your work thoroughly because that person risked his name, his reputation, and then put you before him. So that's how it has been at Joseph Sako.
Beautiful, man. I love the fact that Joseph Sako was Joseph Sako even before you got there. That shows the type of leadership that Joseph Sako has. I was talking to somebody and she was telling me about a multi-grade school. I want to give shout out to all the teachers, man, especially those ones who are teaching multi-grade schools in the farms. In the farms, you know. I know they are also looking for a way out, but some of them are there because they feel the urge to impart knowledge on these kids in the farms because there's a lot of challenges in the farm. There's a lot of infrastructure shortages in the farm. So we want to say shout out to all the teachers out there. But now the parents of the school, how are the parents? Because this is a team, you know. With the teachers without the parents, it can never work. How are they? Like, how are they responding to? Because obviously the school will develop, it will bring changes in its curriculum, and it will bring certain disciplinary methods. How are they responding?
In terms of the parents, okay, is that okay? The other thing is one thing which is part of Batopele is communication. Communication is key to all aspects. In order for the school to flourish, there has to be an open communication to all the stakeholders. In education, you've got what you call the QLTC, where stakeholders are involved. So with us, maybe just to some teachers who are out there like saying, but Mr. Mohitlhi, with us, parents are not coming on board, parents are not coming to the meetings, parents are not. How do you do it? Let's start here firstly. Everything that you do, you must communicate. You cannot just do something without communicating with the parents. These kids, they belong to us all. This is why we say, "Ngwana sejo wa tlhakanelo." O tlhakanetswe le bo mang? Matitjhere, le barutabana, and batsadi ba bana. So with us, we have WhatsApp group. For example, I've got WhatsApp group for the parents of the learners that I'm teaching. All teachers, I've got WhatsApp group with them. And then two, we've got also WhatsApp group for the SGBs. And then we've got our Facebook page where we also communicate. So in anything that we do, we communicate with parents, and parents are always appreciative of teachers who are communicating with them with regard to the progress of their kids. So normally, maybe let me give you this. I've got this project at school, which maybe you have heard, or maybe if you have not heard, it will be your first time. Every year I open 2nd of January.
Okay, I've never heard of that.
Yeah. 2nd of January, I open school every year. So what normally happens is that, because every quarter I meet with the parents. So now, basically what I do, when I was appointed at Joseph Sako, on the first day when I went to class, I didn't teach on day one. On day one, I communicated my expectation to my kids. I sat them down. We spoke about what is it that they are expecting from me on day one. After that, after speaking and then after explaining how we are going to conduct ourselves, me respecting them respecting me. I remember the other one, I was telling them that when I'm late, I must apologize to them that I am late, so that they must learn that they must apologize to me.
It makes it normal. Like
It makes it normal. Then I remember 2 days after that, I took their data, like informed contact details of their parents. I called the parents. Not the parents meeting, the parents for my learners. Because of people, sometimes they think, no, parents meeting is called by the principal. Teachers out there, as a subject teacher, you are able to call parents for your subject. Two, as a class teacher, you are able to call parents. You are able to have that relationship with the parents regarding your kids as a class teacher. You don't wait for the principal, Remember the principal, when he calls the parents, he's calling parents for all the learners, for all the grades, as the principal of the school. But for a specific subject, for a specific class, it's for class teachers and subject teachers. So after speaking my expectations to the learners, I called the parents meeting. I set them down, the same way with the kids. I told them my name, starting with that. My name, what am I teaching? Why am I there? My expectations. I remember one of the parents was like, what is the purpose of a calculator, Mr. Muid? Because of the, when we were growing up, we're not using calculators. What. I was like, in that meeting, Ma, in a calculator, why we want scientific calculator? We've got what you call sine and cos. I can't tell or sine 44. I don't worry. Do you know what is sine 21? Because I'm calculating. That is all about a scientific calculator. You see why the people, so I'm trying to tell to a teacher, maybe watching them, to say, you cannot sit at school and then say to the learners, you must come with the calculators tomorrow. You must come with the files tomorrow, or you must come in terms of resources. Learners are not working.
That's true.
Parents are working. You are communicating the right thing, but to the wrong audience. Communicate that to your parents while they are here. Let them see you. Let them know you. The power of a relationship of a parent and educator in the interest of the learner is that you will have less issues of discipline. Don't so the ill-disciplined learners are not. It's less when compared to, because of you've got that communication that you are having, you and your parents, regarding these kids. So that's how we are also doing it at Joseph Saku. We have these monthly meetings with our parents, quarterly meetings with our parents, and then that's how we are able to run the school so smooth in terms of uniform. They know Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, what is it they are wearing at Joseph Saku, Wednesday and Friday, because we're communicating what we want to see happening in our school during parents' meeting.
Beautiful, man. This means the SGB is also engaged, you know?
Yes.
And I think it's very important for us to have an open door policy, especially in the public schools, as far as parents are concerned. I think that's the benefits of running an institution like a school where the stakeholders are all involved in the decision-making process. So we are just leaders. People are just leaders who lead, but they've got people who must follow. Now, for you, coming into the fraternity of teaching, there's something that I wanted us to touch on. You spoke about your height. Your height. You spoke about how much of a challenge, because hey, you meet kids who are my size, possibly, who are taller, who are bigger.
Yeah.
Because I know the psyche of kids sometimes. They do look at it like, this one.
Yeah. You remember when I started, I said when I started with my learners on day one, I don't teach.
Yeah,
Day one.
Shailted.
Yes. I think we are different. Maybe someone can do it differently. Also, NTA, like I was saying, they told us about character. These are the benefits of NTA also. Now we'll tell the teachers in terms of, because of someone will be like, how are you coping with the challenges of learners, all these things? Day one, I won't lie to you, Press. Day one is the day of the law. I remember the other time when I was in the Taekwondo, because I don't teach with the neck, so I had to speak the neck there. They were like, hey, oh, you can even speak the neck. It's like, yeah. So I was like, Yaraluna.
Oh, beautiful.
Rautwana. Yaraluna. So as I'm here, I'm representing your father. I'm your dad. These are my expectations. This is what you're going to do in terms of homework. This is what you're going to do in terms of the work. And then that's it. So I believe that if you don't lay the foundation and then become consistent with it, it's like that. Since day one, even the beginning of January, when I get to my class, then as they know the culture, we pray in the morning. When we leave, we pray. When I get in there, teachers, they stand up. Is the foundation that I had to lay. I believe that a system that you need to put in place to protect anything that may arise later.
Yeah.
Rather than waiting for a problem to arise later and then try to come with a solution. Rather lay the foundation as a solution at the beginning. You'll avoid all these issues and challenges that young teachers are faced up with. Yeah, so that's how I think.
Hey, Thursday, if it's Shane Tet of it, Shane Tet, so let them know who's boss and let them know. I think it also works in relationships. Most of the relationships are killed by expectations, which are not set. I was expecting you to be home by 1. No,
You never told me.
you never told me. You never told me that you don't want me to cheat. So let us have a proper. I think what I've been listening to is that you have a structure that helps you.
Yeah.
You have a structure that develops you, and you are open to learning. I think that's the secret here. Being open to being given instructions and being taught. But I'm gonna say this in Setswana just to prove to you that look, this is our language. But I'm gonna say it in English, and you can translate it. The tree that does not bend to the direction of the wind breaks. If the tree goes this direction, this is the tree, and the wind is going that direction, it's going to be problem. Because obviously, now the wind is pushing. So what I'm realizing with you is that you are not only giving your learners a fighting chance, because like you said, we were never given that fighting chance. People were just teaching us and that's it. Do you think education is evolving?
It is, man. It is. No. Guys, we can never say you know it all. Yeah, it is because of the content is the same, but the manner in which how we deliver the content is different. That's why I would say nowadays we cannot teach these kids how we're taught. You are going to lose it. We are going to lose it. We cannot teach them like the kids of, for example, when I was in grade 11, I didn't have a phone. I'm talking about me. When I was in grade 11, no, I didn't have a phone. Not to say others, yeah, others had, but not many of us had phone. Remember now a grade 6 is in TikTok, is in Facebook, like knows the followers. We've got followers from Japan, from China, like your education evolves. Okay, maybe just to tap into that. I was in China in 2023, and then I met this boy who was in grade 6. I remember because we were there for mathematics, and then I was like, okay, man, okay, let me give you a sum, and then I was like grade 6, okay, I was like, okay, 12 times 12 is like 144. I'm like, okay, I thought my English calculator. I was just testing the waters. I'm like, okay, it's fine. 10 times I was like a 50, come on, like give me something better. I'm like, okay, who is this guy? And then I even gave him like algebra. I'm like, okay, can you just solve this equation for me? He solved it like there's nothing. I gave him a graph. Like I said, no, draw this graph actually or interpret this graph. He interpreted the graph. He even drew the graph. He even told me the shape of the graph, everything. That was in grade 6. I gave him the work of grade 12 here in South Africa. That boy did it like me. That's when I realized that we can never be comfortable with what we are having. Education evolves. We can never say you know it. You can know it this way. Even theorems, at Marking Center would be like, you know how to teach your kids this way. Get to Marking Center. You'll find 14 ways of teaching the same thing that you're teaching your kids. That's why you'll be like, wow, oh, this is how it can be done. Wow, this is how it can be done. And so in education, we always say, you can never teach the kids how you know it. Don't teach the kids how you know it. I always tell my kids that as long as you can arrive at the same answer, even if you don't use it in my way or my method, you use your own method, but we arrive in the same answer. I don't have a problem. I don't want to limit them. I don't want to limit their mind. I want them to be exposed to different methods, but they must decide the method that they understand. Why do I say that? They are the ones who will be writing during examination. I cannot limit my learner to say, use this method. This is the only method that works. Sometimes you are killing the learner to be unique. You are killing the learner to express himself or herself. So education evolves, in so many ways.
Yes, it does. And we constantly need to find ways of teaching kids, and they're different.
They are different. There's a kid who believes in seeing. Imagine you are drawing the graph. I'll make an example. You are trying to draw. Remember when we were taught by chalkboard on the board there? And then let's say maybe I'm drawing, let me go to functions. I'm drawing parabola. On top of parabola, I want to draw hyperbola. Then I'll be like, but they're just the same. I want to say, but if you bring a different color, then I will be able to say, oh, that is hyperbola, or this is parabola. And then two, there is a kid who believes in music, others by singing. I remember we used to have this song that says, in the first quadrant, all ratios are positive. Second quadrant, only sign is positive. You know, the CAS diagram, all ratios in the first quadrant are all positive, the sign 1. We have to come up with something so that some learners can be accommodated. Not all learners are able to study and then get it. And the nice part about that musical learner is able to sing it in their hearts during examination. And no invigilator can say someone is singing, but that learner will be able to remember, oh, no, the first quadrant, all ratios are positive, so all signs here are positive because of that song that you sang in the class, trying to accommodate. That is why we call it inclusive education. Let us accommodate all learners.
I remember because I think it makes it easier for most learners to learn when we are being practical. But I remember I was taught by, I'm going to mention her name. I love this woman. There's a lady, she's on retirement right now. Her name in primary school. Can you imagine? And I still remember that one lesson that she gave me. I'm going to give it to you. Her name is Mahairatan.
Okay.
Yeah. And I remember we were sitting, because remember we used to be taught while sitting down, and then maybe we just have a group and then she will just be there. And then she would make an example. When she was teaching English. When she was making an example, she would say, and I don't understand why she did this, but it stayed with me even today. I remember I was sitting in front, on the floor, I'm sitting in front, and she's making an example and she's kicking me. She says, what am I doing? I am kicking Zibuza. But you're kicking me. So it stays. It's sunk that, okay, this is how you use certain words. When she was busy kicking me, and then everybody had to say it afterwards that, oh, no, you are, So us implementing ways and techniques requires one of those 60 learners that you're teaching. It requires you to know them individually so that you can serve them. You can find a way. As teaching can be nice.
It is nice.
It is nice. It can be very nice. Especially when you know all those learners by name and you know that, okay, this one's got a challenge of this one's got a challenge of that. But I think I'm going to credit also teachers who work together. If me and you are teaching the same class, it means we need to meet each other halfway. And I see that with you guys. I think you guys are doing a pretty good job.
Yes, also it's called twinning. We call it twinning. There's another.
You call it twinning at Joseph Saku, or is it a term that is used by the department? Because we need to understand, you guys are developing lingos.
No. Most usually it's with maths people around. Twinning can be done in this way. So many ways. Twinning can be, let me take it from there. It can be like someone from this province coming from this province. Like I have a friend of mine, KZN. We usually twin for a certain topic, geometry. And then twinning can be done from district to district. I've got also a friend of mine in Rustenburg, actually Mohitlhi. We twin because we're at Marking Center together. So in terms of working together. Also twinning can be like, for example, let's say, if maybe I'm working with a teacher, a PH or Pinahari, coming to my school. Like for example, currently I'm working with a teacher in Bohosing. So let's say I need, because of one thing that we need to understand now, you can be a great teacher. You can be an excellent teacher, but it doesn't mean all learners will understand you. This is true. So you need to reflect on yourself. I usually do this. Every quarter, I'll be giving my learners my evaluation. They must evaluate me where I led, so that I must see where I must improve by my learners, not by a teacher. Because sometimes your colleagues will praise you, your seniors will praise you. But the learners, they know the truth. So they will tell you that actually, because in that evaluation, I will be indicating, am I slow to you? Am I fast to you? Is there a topic that I skipped and you did not understand? They're going to be honest. They're going to tick. When I see some of the topics and then I say, okay, actually in this topic, okay, I know this topic, but it's not my strength. But I've got a friend of mine there in Bohosing, Mr. Pablo. For example, he's good when it comes to what is this topic? Actually, geometry, he's good also.
Shout out Pablo.
Yes, Pablo is He's a good friend of mine. He's good. So whenever I call him, I know he's gonna come and cover, and then he will do. Yeah, that guy will deliver like as if it is his last day on air. So that is also part of training from there. So usually I'll be like, okay, no, I've got that topic. I did trade it with the learners last time, but I feel like I didn't do justice. Can you just come and then revise it with them? So that's how also we twin. Another twinning within the school, I've got my DH, Ma'am Haubusi, who was the math teacher there at Joseph Sakubiko before I arrived. Also, I'm able to say to her, Ma'am, can you just help me with that topic? The learners, I think I didn't do justice there. Can you just cover there and then we'll be doing that? So also twinning, it helps with that in terms of teaching.
Beautiful, man. I have a lot of questions, but I'm going to stop it there because now it's getting late. But for Albert, moving forward, what can we expect? We've spoken about how you are developing these kids, how you are working together with the leadership of Joseph Saku and outside. I love the fact that you are able to call external forces to come and bring them here and educate these learners on things that you possibly might have a challenge with. That is commendable.
Yeah.
And for you, what is in store? We're closing this thing now. It's like that, am I? Are we looking at possibly the future principal of the University of Joseph Saku? Are we looking at the district manager? Are we looking at the DD? What are we looking at? Because I love how passionate you are with education. I don't believe there's ever going to be a time where you leave this fraternity, and I understand there's a possibility, but the way that I hear how you so passionately speak about it sort of engages me to say this is where you are supposed to be. This is where you are mostly needed. What is next for you?
Before I answer on that one, like you were saying, maybe you not leave education or what. I always tell people that God is the one who appoints us. If He sees me sees me working somewhere and it benefits Him for His kingdom, then let it be. So I'm not in charge of myself to say, now I'm here at Joseph Saku, here I'm not moving, or I'm here, I'm not moving, what. God is the one who appoints us. Us is just to respond to the call. So yeah, one thing I can say is that watch the space. Yeah. I'm not saying anything but watch the space. Many things are coming, opportunities are coming. And one thing about me is that when I get an opportunity, it's not only for me, it's for other people. So watch the space, and then also parents, please bring your kids to Joseph Saku, the School of Excellence.
There's 1.4 of them already, or 1.5, I don't know. There's just too many of them.
Yeah, and then we are praying that the MEC must come and build the school. Yeah, they must build the school at Joseph Saku. We need a double story. We need a double story because of learners are there. But yeah, opportunities are coming. I'm ready, and then God's time is perfect. He always aligns our plans. We can plan, we can have all these things, we can talk all these things, but at the end, God's plan is the one that prevails. But for whatever that God says, my child, I want you there, I will follow him. I want you there, I will follow him. I don't follow. If he says, no, stay in Joseph Saku the next 10 years, if God's will, let it be. If he says, I want you move in that direction, if it's God's will, let it be, because of he is the one who appoints us.
He works at a school that is named after the king of the village. Yeah. And that for me is a privilege, because even the Bible says we must respect your leaders. So I guess I'm not going to ask, I'm going to claim you are a pastor. Are you a pastor? Or he's not going to answer. But if you listen to this whole video, you will lose count of the number of times he has mentioned the kingdom of God, the kingdom of Jesus. And you realize there's this question that I've asked has already been answered. But I wanted to say thank you very much for being in our midst. And we wish the kids that would be attending under your leadership. All the blessings. And then parents, yeah, do bring kids to Joseph Saku.
Yes.
Yeah, do bring kids to Joseph Saku. I think there's a plan there.
Yeah.
Corinthians, just watch the space.
Yeah, something is coming. Maybe just a few words before we leave.
Yeah.
Is just to thank you for the opportunity. You know, sometimes we'll be like, ish, will we ever get the opportunity, you know, just to come and share with the world? Because there's someone out there
Yeah.
who is discouraged, someone who maybe went to varsity, a dropout, because of, you see Mr. Muji today, you see this deputy principal, but you don't know that I studied teaching for 5 years. I didn't finish on record because of challenges happened to me. I once was a dropout. I remember I couldn't finish up my second year due to some modules that I failed. But there was something in me that told me that I will pass this stage. There is nothing that comes into our lives to make us stagnant for a permanent course. No, stagnation is just there for a particular reason, for a particular season, and then you're going to pass. So if you are there at varsity, you dropped out because of maybe funds or what, I just want to say, get up, and then remind yourself the main purpose why you were there. You will still do it, and you can be there, and you can be a better generation. I always tell my kids that be the best version of yourself. Don't compete with anyone. Do not compete with anyone, and do not compare yourself with anyone. Be the best version of yourself. Like I told myself last quarter that the next coming term, I'm going to be better than first term. And now and also I want to say shout out to my wife.
Did you even talk about the way? What is this?
And my family.
Wait. We cannot leave.
It's about to close out.
This is my platform. I'm the principal in the baby here. Like, how important is it to have a supportive partner?
You know, it's very key because I was arguing with someone that, you know, be careful who you bring in your life.
Oof.
A person that you bring closer in your life must be able to elevate you and build you up. And then it must be a mutual relationship where you build each other up. People see me today, but they don't know there's someone behind the scenes, behind closed doors, who made this Mr. Mohitlhi, who built this character, and not just a partner, but someone that we pray together, someone that we plan together, someone that I communicate my plans to, that she assess them and then say, this one won't work. This one will work prayerfully, so not just the person saying it out loud. So we all need a supporting structure. On our own, isolation doesn't work. You can be a great person, you can be greater, but you'll be the greatest when someone is carrying you through the chain.
Shout out to the wife, man. I said those same words just not so long ago. I said, if you want to propel your life, make sure of who you bring into your life.
Yeah.
Because certain individuals, shame, some of them they don't even know, but they can bring delay into your progress. And that's not even me being a pastor. But anyway, wow. Shout out to the family, man. Please keep him for us. Please. Man, look, thank you for joining us and thank you for allowing this sit down. And possibly one day we'll talk to the principal and he will talk more about you. Maybe we'll still find out if he likes you or if you are challenging him. We'll talk to the principal. We'll find out those things for ourselves. But anyway, that's where we leave it for today. Join us on the next one, man. We hope and we wish nothing but the best for you.
Thank you, and thank you, and thank you. Thank you, guys.
Subscribe to the channel, Debo.